So they got the guy without us. That was terrible. And we didn't know when we'd ever see. They said that's when we lived in that little house over in Austin, you know that.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't know when we were going to see him again, because he was going overseas. So there they were.
To Guam.
And then he said, see, and I was reading all this, and Lily said, she told me that you're being unrealistic, because they told you that he would be good. That well, in February we received a letter from him, and you won't believe this, but moving to Panama. And we all went to Panama. Yeah, exactly. No, you weren't from Panama. Well, in Panama I got pregnant again.
Yeah.
Patty was, Panama was terrible. The Ozers were terrible. It was blowing. Patty was born on St. Patrick's Day. Chuck was born in Austin. Then we got transferred to Germany. Remember?
Yeah.
We went to Ramstein. You went to school through the woods there.
Yes.
I used to sit out on my little. We had a little porch up there. I'd see you both up there. That's what good. Something they could do good special. Another day, JP.
Mm-hmm.
Remember JP?
Yes.
Yeah. Brother Terry was born in St. Patrick's. Then in San Antonio we did St. Patrick's Church, and we had great with the priest. That's good. That all the boys were older boys. The nuns would come to our fence, remember?
Mm-hmm.
We'd feed them. He used to come to relax and check. Father Flanagan, he'd stick his long legs out, sit in a chair in the living room, and his leg would go up and visit with Dad. He'd come back. Remember Brother Flanagan?
Yes.
How big of this? To our fence and would give them ice cream. The priest would come in to relax and check. It would be great for the children. Yeah. It was time for him to retire in the Air Force. The commander wanted to keep him in longer, so they requested he be extended. That was about that. Knowing how badly he wanted to stay in longer, and financially we needed to stay in. Like hit the rosary read. Request was denied. They could not make exceptions, so he hired over the squadron commander, and the new commander was sent to Vietnam. They would not make exceptions, so he hired him. There, but the grace of the God, I would have been again with 7 children while he was in Vietnam, and answered my prayers, and he came through again. He said, I hold you with my hand, I do everything that you love. I am your provider. Oh, man. I would like to tell you about the service I provided my husband.
Yeah.
They all laugh at that one. other than the obvious. Being in the Air Force, my husband was an officer. I was in producing officers' wives, functions for nurseries provided for the children. You were all involved in this. You were all in here. And then I did not share the entertainment. I enjoyed my life because of love. I do love trying to make each house our home. There were times when I moved myself, kids, to our next station without guilt. First with 2 kids to Panama, 4 to Germany, then 7 kids back then to Abilene. by the time Will joined us in Abilene in 70, and George Mason became president of it. Ooh, my goodness. Wanted to get into civil service after they retired, but he had no 6 months before he put up. This is something else that helped him. He went hunting and he sold cars. Well, for insurance, needless to say, we had to dip in our savings. We had a son in college. Planning a wedding. A daughter planning a wedding. Sandra. 3 in school, elementary. Yes, I was pregnant again. We managed by the time. Chris. Oh, Christopher. In a good civil service job. And our Chris, who has claimed sneak in the back door where we weren't looking, was also called our bonus child because he brought us so much joy. And see what happened the other night? Everybody was sitting in here, and that slumber night, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and the girls would bring pictures of the different groups, you know, of the different pictures of our family, and talked about this and that, and talked about that. And after they left, Chris was just sitting there, and I felt terrible because we didn't say anything about Christopher. Because he went to all the kids into the... And see, look, for our Chris, who was claimed sneaked in the back door where we weren't looking, we also called him our bonus child because he brought us all very much joy. And he did. He kept Christmas alive for all of us. At school pep rallies, he was a mascot. Patty was a cheerleader. Chuck and played the football and the basketball. Now Willie was in college, and Sandra was married. She and her pregnant at the same time, and we had such fun shopping together. She would look at this, Mom. But I felt bad the other night when Chris was sitting over there. And this was the night we were remembering everything. That's when they...
Mm-hmm.
And they brought up different things, and how many went to Germany with it the first time, and they brought pictures up for this and this and this and this and this. And Chris sat over there. He said, I called Mike and told him we were going to have a family thing, and we did. See, he figured, but they never got to him.
Hmm?
They never got to him. I feel so bad for him. I could have said, yes. And in the midst of all of that, Chris was born, and he was, what do they call him? Something in here.
Bonus child.
Yeah. He was a bonus child.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys used to put him in the middle of the table, and he entertained you and all of this stuff. I'm going to say that one day.
Okay.
He kept Christmas alive for all of us. Willie was at college and Sandra was married. She and it. We were both pregnant at the same time. We used to drive down the street, and both of us were pregnant. Willie was at college, Sandra was married, and she and I were pregnant. We enjoyed that. Chris was born in May, and our first grandson was born in September. We felt we were very blessed to do that. Chris grew up with the grandchildren. Now, over the years, we have had a share of bad happenings, in fact, very heartbreaking things. So we kept the faith in the Lord, always came for us. For number 2 son, who was that?
Chuck.
Chuck. Yeah, he had troubles. Had 3 children, and a number 3 son one had 2, but both now divorced, heartbreakers. They are good fathers and children, grown adults.